Prepare properly or perish. This world doesn't forgive mistakes. Stay ready.
Hey folks, do me a favor, would you please? Smash like or die in the apocalypse. Subscribe or die in the apocalypse. Share the video or die in the apocalypse. Almost done. Comment or die in the apocalypse. Hit notifications, especially hit notifications, or die in the apocalypse. And now, to the video. Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, all you prepper minded. Welcome to No Respawn Prepping, where my take on things, maybe I should say our take on things, but really it's only me, well, and my wife. Our take on things is that you get one chance to do it right. That means prepping is no respawn. Your plan and your efforts either work or they don't. There is no gray area. There's no maybes. There's no ifs. It's just either successful or it is not. I would like to welcome to the channel Bon Jovi 2757 and his response to my basically saying bugging in during SHTF, Teotowaki, the end of the world as we know it. I consider that to be grid down, not Katrina. Those are two very different things. If we lose the electric grid, especially worldwide, okay, forget worldwide. If we lose the electric grid here in the United States, it's all over. It's all over. FEMA says 90% dead in the first year. The biggest portion of those gone in the first 6 months. And the vast majority of those will be in built-up population areas. That does not mean that you will survive in a rural environment, but your odds of surviving are greatly, greatly enhanced. Bon Jovi says, this will happen in a rural environment. Your secret remote bug out is not a secret. Someone or a few to a lot of someone's already know it's there, even if you think they don't know. That's absolutely true. 100% correct. No, make it 1,000% correct, because it is 1,000% correct. If you buy a bug out retreat and it has a cabin on it, somebody built that cabin and knows it's there. Trust that. But for right now, they are not telling you they know. That's also a fact, or it's not a fact. A lot of your neighbors, they know about it. Does someone in the middle of Los Angeles know about your bug out cabin in Central Oregon? No. The only ones who are going to fare well are the big government bunkers that you and I are not going to have access to. Yeah, I don't agree with that. There are people who are going to go through this as if nothing happened. All these self-sufficient organic farmers, they're not even going to know the difference. People living without electricity now, such as Joe Fox, his family. Well, he may not go through it without a bump. He lives without electricity, uses solar. However, he is not 100% food self-sufficient. He isn't even 90%. He said he's been working on it for years. I'd like to know where he's at right now. But there are people who will, and there are people who will suffer to varying degrees, and there are those who will suffer less and make it through. The old one, continuing on with Bon Jovi's comment here, the old one, Greenbrier, still exists, but is not the primary one. There are dozens currently, packed to the gills with preps, security, top-tier soldiers, doctors, communication equipment, just waiting, patiently waiting, and you and I are not going to have access to them either. And that's very true, and I wouldn't want to be there. all those security people, have you taken care of all of their family? How about their extended family? How about their family's friends and other family members' family members? They are all going to want to come. And all of them are secretly telling, hey, my husband's part of the security team in this government bunker. So when it happens, I'm going to let you know and you come with us. And then that person tells someone else and that person tells someone else. And then the security teams either have to mow down a whole lot of people that they know and love at the doors of these bunkers, or they have to let them in. I think those things are a big setup for failure. And then you got infighting inside. All of a sudden, these politicians who built this bunker for themselves are no longer that important. Why? Because there's nothing to govern except this little bunker and everybody's fighting inside. What happens then? Does the security team take over and become tyrants? Do you think maybe? Yeah, I'm not so sure that that'll work out. So anyways, I still maintain that your best chances of survival are Noah's Ark. And Noah Ark survived the flooding of the world. How did he do it? Well, it took him 100 years, a century plus, to plan it and to execute it. And I know that's where most people fail, right there. They have their Noah moment and they just go, oh my gosh, that's too much. And so what do? They usually, on their first contact, it's their biggest impression is their first contact. They go to Canadian Prepper or some other online guru for prepping videos. Usually these people are selling either ideas and or products, almost always products. I'm selling an idea. Well, it's not costing you anything, but they have some products they want to sell you. And that product typically runs around a 72-hour bug out kit that they're going to sell you. And so you say to yourself, that's easy. You whip out your credit card and you buy it. And you just built yourself your first little ring of defense around your family. But it doesn't stop there. If it does, good luck. If you think you're going to take that little 72-hour kit and you're either going to bug out into the wilderness and then come back after 72 hours after the grid has failed, it ain't working. And you're not going to feed yourself and your family in the wilderness. I don't care how good your skills are. If you are in an area where there is a lot of competition for the local game and the local resources, remember, it's all about resources. Resources, resources, resources. Though you are going to be in such heavy competition for those resources, you will not make it. Think of the Serengeti and the massive migrations of animals. What are they doing when they're migrating? Why are they moving? They're following resources, grass and water. And they compete for that. And there are predators along the way. And so it goes for you're going to your bug out location. There are going to be predators along the way. Very rapidly, they're going to set this up. Why? They see you driving down the highway in your RV, your great big motorhome, towing your big old $90,000 Jeep behind it. And they think to themselves, he's probably got stuff there. And so they stop you. Maybe they flatten your tires. Maybe you walk away alive, maybe you don't. So you got to plan ahead. It means you have to have trigger points. When this and this happens in society, my family are taking a last-minute vacation and we're going to our location. And then we'll see what happens. If I turned out that it was a false alarm, we just get in the RV and we come back after watching the Milky Way for a few nights and sipping on Jack Daniels and smoking a cigar or whatever it is you do to relax. Riding the dirt bikes. Because if you don't get out early, you don't get out. So then you start following some more channels, or that same channel finally says, you got to have this firearm. And you built your next concentric circle. And then you see some more stuff, and that builds another circle. And you keep circling around it with layers of defense that you're doing it right. And anything that comes along, like no respawn prepping, and tells you that your plans are crap and you will die, it does this. It bounces off and goes away. You won't let it in because you're telling yourself it has to work because my family depends on it. The lives of my family depend on it. And so it reflects off. And the next one comes and bounces. Maybe it gets through the first layer and bounces off. Because I can get through everybody's layers. I can get through my own. My own plan has lots and lots of holes in it. Nothing's perfect. And no plan survives first contact. But you can look at history. You can look at history. And history will tell you what works most of the time. Did Noah participate in the flood and say, we are going to be okay and I'm going down into the city and we're all going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya? Or did he get away from those people by building an ark? He got away from the people by building an ark. History says that when things go sideways, you're better off not being there. It's when the worldwide grid collapses because the sun is going to take it out through a coronal mass ejection, and all the power lines are going to absorb all that. They're going to run in and blow up all the big transformers, and we're not going to be able to replace them. And anyone thinking that all those power line people are going to get together and pull the power grid back up by the bootstraps, you're probably kidding yourself because they've got the same 72 hours that you have until pandemonium sets in. And they don't have spare high voltage transformers. And so once the panic sets in, this whole production of insanity begins. And it cascades very, very quickly. What do you do here then? What do? You look at history. Don't listen to someone on the internet telling you what to do. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. Look at history. And what does history say that when difficult times come, what's the best place? Where's the best place to be? Somewhere where the bad stuff isn't happening. If you reduce the number of people you are in contact with, you reduce your number of people problems. And people problems will be the biggest problems you have. What else? Okay, so people have difficulty accepting, allowing things past their rings of defense, no matter how deep they are, whether they're just 1 layer deep or 5 layers deep. They have trouble letting it in. Why? Because it tells your family that you have failed them, that your plans are a failure, that you have planned to fail. And that's what most preppers do. I did it myself for decades. I told myself that my plans would work because they had to work, because nothing else was feasible. That means I was unwilling to do what it really takes to make it work right. And that's what it comes down to. Having a real, viable, solid plan for when the world no longer adheres to the rules that we grew up under is the only way to survive that. A real, solid plan that has been tested. You've put it in the fire. You've tried it. You've done it. You've worked it. You found as many of the chinks in the armor as you could, and you closed those gaps. So, Bon Jovi, 2757, I say that I'm still right. Being away from people solves most of your problems. And in a second comment, he mentioned that you got to get right with Jesus, and you're absolutely correct. More than anything on earth, you need to be right spiritually. But why didn't Noah just drown and then get taken up to heaven? Ask yourself that question. Wouldn't it have been easier than spending a century, people? I do believe the official number is around 101 to 106 years of his life he spent building an ark, when he could have been chillaxing around the campfire. Because he had a mission to do on the other side, and so do you. If you are a Christ follower, you have a mission. Whatever's coming, whether it's war, famine, all those things put together, we are going to see the sun take out the power grids. It's happened before, it'll happen again. 1859, look it up, the Carrington event. That happening today, and it's all over, folks. It's all over. Our electric grids all the way around the world will come down, and we will be without electricity. And that means the modern world is over. And that means in just one day, we go back to pre-electricity days. That's not hyperbole. That's not trying to scare you. That is a fact. That is going to happen in the not very near. It's on the horizon. We can see it. We know that by 2040, at the latest, there will be a coronal mass ejection that will blast out energy from the sun, and it will be in the pathway of the Earth, and the Earth will transit it. And then the Earth will pick up all that energy, especially since we have a waning magnetic field that bounces most of the sun's energy away from the Earth and makes the Earth habitable. You can see this. It's science. It isn't anything. It's not conjecture. It's not somebody making something up. I'm not joking about it. That is why we are seeing an increase in volcanic activity and earthquakes, because more cosmic rays, energy from the sun, is getting through our magnetic shield and striking the Earth, penetrating the Earth. It goes all the way through the Earth. And that excites the magma inside the Earth. And it causes stress on the tectonic plates. We get more earthquakes and more volcanic activity. And all of that's added into the loss of the electric grid. It's a staggering thing to think about. Taking your family, this is what you do though. You will either go over a cliff and straight down, or you will build a ramp down. Stick around, folks. I would like to educate you. I would like to have you realign your aim point. Because making real plans for what is really coming is what will get your family through it. And it's not all doom and gloom. It's not. An awful lot of people are going to suffer and not make it. But a lot of people were not prepared for the Black Plague. 50% of Europe perished. History is replete with those things. The only one ready for what happened on Earth, pretty much, was Noah. Humanity survived it, and it'll survive this. And on the other end, you're going to have a mission, a spiritual mission. And I hope you're here for that, because people will need it. Along the way, they'll need it too. Tell me what you think about that. Smash like, or die in the apocalypse. I should have done this at the beginning of the video. Subscribe, or die in the apocalypse. Share the video, or die in the apocalypse. Comment down below, or die in the apocalypse. Hit notifications, or die in the apocalypse. I think I'm going to do another video real quick and put that at the front of this, because that's where it really belongs. God bless you all. Take care, and I'm out.